hoping. All right, so hopefully you are not limiting yourself to the textbook that you have, that you are going beyond the textbook. And so that will be your question 1 and your question 1.1 and 1.2. So the as you can see, question 1 here, this is quite an interactive tool. So when you see for question 1 here, it asks you for an explanation of the differences between wealth maximization and profit maximization approach. If I can summarize the question, that will be the best way. So you need to give an explanation of the differences between a wealth maximization approach and a profit maximization approach. Then you can see it's quite easy because you will get the idea from your textbook, but you will write it in your own word, and you won't be necessarily have to write exactly what is in your textbook. You're not gonna be required to do direct quote. You see, when you're giving word for word verbatim, then you're putting it into you're quoting into quotation marks. So you're not really required of that, but it's more the idea, and the idea you took it from somewhere. So you give me that difference between a profit maximization approach and a wealth maximization approach. And so as I put it here, that will be 4 marks. So if you can give me a good contrast between the two, you'll have 4 marks. And then you are also required to give 3 drawbacks of both approaches. All right, so 3 drawbacks. Of course, when you're putting a drawback there, you write also the explanation of that. So that's beautiful. So if you can do that, if you're not getting clear drawbacks, consult extra material. Try to go on Google Scholar. I hope you know how to do proper research, and it's not heavy research that is being asked here. But for 6 marks, if you give me the 3 drawbacks and an explanation of it, you will get the 6 marks. So this is quite an easy 10 mark that you'll get. So for question 1.2, as you can see, you need to describe what the investment role involves for a financial manager. And the question is quite formulated in the sense that you are the financial manager. And so from your textbook, obviously you will get the investment role and what it involves. And if you are drawing from your textbook, you need to reference your own textbook. But even if you don't go outside your textbook, the second point here, because remember that question 1.2 is 15 marks. The second point here, asking you for a company in South Africa. In South Africa, it's not necessarily a South African company. It's any company that is operating in South Africa and that has undertaken a merger or an acquisition, or a divestment of other companies over the past 5 years. So what this means is you're going to need to do research. You're going to need to go on your browser and do proper research to find a company that has been involved or has undertaken merger, acquisition, or divestment. Find a company, and that already will give you marks. If you can find a company and explain what if they were involved. Remember, you are finding a company and you are explaining what operation were they involved in. You don't just give me the name of the company and expect 6 marks. I'm not going to give you 6 marks if you just give me the name of the company. You give me the name of the company and you give me what exactly had happened over the past 5 years. Was it a merger and acquisition that happened or a divestment? So you need to be able to detail that properly and reference the source. Reference the source where you got this company. All right. It can be a business article, business news. It can be in a textbook. It can be in a book. It can be in an article. It doesn't matter. You need to reference that, and you need to reference that correctly. And that's why on the email I sent you, I gave you also the referencing guide to help you, because if you are referencing, yes, you're referencing, but if you are referencing incorrectly, you will get there will be marks deductions. So just bear that in mind. All right. So once you give me that, then you will go into the reasons why or let's say the benefit and the drawbacks that have resulted from that company undertaking that particular operation, whether it is a merger, acquisition, or divestment. I hope that that's clear. Are you all good? Can I check on you? I always, every 15 minutes, I check on you. So can you tell me if that's okay, if that's fine? It's pretty easy. Awesome, awesome. This is the easiest assignment I've ever seen. And I have to confess that I I did not the assignment. As you know, the assignment comes from the IIE. It's not, but I would have loved to have set this assignment myself, because this one was too easy. There is no way that you guys are not going to get a distinction for this assignment. That's how easy it is. And that comes back again to my second point. Cheating. That's a no-go zone. Please do not involve yourself into this. I cannot tell you the number of students that have been expelled or suspended each year that I've been at varsity. And that I was also involved in making sure that they are held accountable. So it's quite concerning when students, for instance, will just give their answers or their assignments to another student. If you are doing that, you are jeopardizing your studies, and it's quite a level of immorality that should not happen. Just understand that, protect your work at all time. I'm quite a fan of boxing, and in boxing we always say protect yourself at all time. So just make sure that you don't fall into the trap of another student coming to you at the last minute and saying, hey, I haven't done my work, please help me. And you share your work. By sharing your work, you might say, well, it's him who cheated. Actually, I never did the cheating. By sharing your work with another student, your answers with another student, you are involved into cheating, and you will be held accountable. So I trust that this is clear. Just make sure that you don't fall for that. It's okay, for instance, to give a particular explanation to somebody who's not understanding a particular section, which is fine. You as a student should be able to, sometimes when your colleague needs a little bit of help to understand a particular section or a particular concept, you are welcome to explain that to him, but you are not at any pretext, you are not to share your answers, because it will get you into trouble. And the reason why I'm saying this, because there is already a case fresh in my mind. There is a student that has just been suspended because she said that she had left the laptop in the hands of her friend, and the friend had copied. So we don't care. We don't care if unless you are saying, and her defense was, they stole my work. They stole my work. Nobody will buy that. You are to protect your work at any time. Don't allow somebody to be in possession to look or to see your answers, because they will copy it and you will be in serious trouble. I hope that this is clear. I hope none of my students will find themselves into this. But hey, if you want to try the water, try always, because and you'll be caught, definitely. So don't don't just involve yourself into this. All right, so question one, that's done. Let's move to question two, which is ridiculously easy. And the reason why I'm putting this, by the way, I'm not supposed to put this, but I'm just putting this for you because I saw also that in our textbook there was a bit of a mistake somewhere there. I think in the textbook it was saying plus M. As you remember, we spoke about this formula. Remember, we had this discussion. The effective annual rate. Obviously, this question is related to chapter 3 and the section of effective annual rate, and this formula, but there was a bit of a mistake with this formula in your textbook, and that's why I'm writing it here again, which I should not do, because it's almost like I'm giving you the answer, but it is what it is. Oops, sorry. So you have the quoted nominal rate divided by the number of M is the number of compounding periods in a year. So I saw in the textbook it was saying plus M. I'm not too sure why. Okay, so remember, it's quoted nominal rate divided by the number of compounding periods in a year. And as you can see, we have big brackets and the formula is quite easy for you to understand. Sorry, there we go. Awesome. Any issues that you have with this formula? This is pretty easy, huh? So you know what you have to do here. Remember, this is an exponent here and -1. So it's easy. Remember again, in your textbook, chapter 3, you kind of have a few examples. So in case you are doubting something, just go on the few examples. So for question 2, I want anything that is calculations. Please, please, please show me all the calculations, because the reason why we are asking for this, and even your questions are mentioning that clearly, that you need to show your calculations. It's for a reason. It's so that we know that you didn't just take it from somewhere, that you understand, and that there's a flow in your answering. And we've put marks in that flow. So if you are not showing me the flow of the calculation, start by the formula. Which formula are you using? Start there. Put the formula clear and show me the calculation clearly, so that I can see how you have derived your answer. So that's quite important. And so I will be able to give you the marks. So I say, remember, the question 2 is easy. I got a question from one of you saying that, do we need to make up some of the bonuses? No, this is just basically a clear example of what interest rate is the best, and then your discussion, which will be 4 marks here. This might not be the clearest thing, but yeah, your discussions, which will be 4 marks here, will just basically provide if your friend's advice was correct. So based on these calculations, you will be able to see which one of alpha or beta. Remember, alpha bank, beta bank, they are offering 2 different rate. You need to calculate the effective rate. They have quoted a nominal rate, but you have to calculate the effective annual rate, and you'll be able therefore to compare between the two and see which one is the best. And you will therefore be able to discuss that and recommend or confirm if your friend's advice was correct or not. Simple. I hate to say this, ridiculously simple. All right. So is it fine, guys? Easy? Let me just check on you. Any questions? Is it easy? Let me know before we move to the final three. Okay, awesome. Thank you, David, Rabia. Awesome. So what's going to happen is the last three are more or less the same. And in fact, they are covering, let me see, they are covering chapter 3. And I've committed a sin by providing even the page number, because for question number 3, this question we did cover together. The reason why I am highlighting in front of you all this is to show you that you need to read properly. Read properly every sentence. And like I say, that sentence is not by accident that that sentence was put there. If it contains numbers, if it contains percentages, that means that it's something you need to pay attention to. So look at a just quickly jumping quickly by looking at the case itself, the case study. You can see how many things I have highlighted that are quite important. An example of that will be 3/4 of the amount earned for the year. Quite important. Interest income. As you can see, this interest income is expected to be 3/4. I hope that all of you are seeing this and it's quite clear. I wouldn't want you to make another false calculation here. All right, so it's basically simple here. It's quite simple here, is that you do have a statement of comprehensive income, but there is, in what is given to you, remember the statement of comprehensive income is, and for the year that is ending on the 31st of March, right? But now remember that you are to look for the budgeted statement of comprehensive income. And that's why the marketing team that has brought you in, through their research, they have given some forecast. Let's use the word forecast. As you can see, they are trying to predict what is going to happen in the next financial year. And you are to draw up. So it is so simple by just looking what the forecast is. If they say the unit sales would increase by 60% in the next financial year, then you know that it's going to impact the sales and the cost of sales. I repeat again, if they say the unit sales would increase, it means that it's going to impact the sales and the cost of sales. So when you're going to be drawing this new budgeted statement of comprehensive income, make sure that you take into account everything that has been given to you. And they're not a lot. There's just a few of them that has been given to you. Look also at the introduction to determine whether the marketing manager's proposal is a viable option in helping to boost the company's revenue. In the current financial year, 40,000 jerseys were sold, which was 60,000 jerseys less than what was sold previously. And it says the current financial year. Just make sure that what belongs to the future statement of comprehensive income, you don't take you don't take it, how can I say, what is belonging to the current financial year, don't involve it into the future. You see, so you have two things. You have to understand that there's the current and there's the future. There needs to be that clear division. So when you're reading a statement that speaks about current, you must make sure that you don't take it into account into the future calculations. All right, so if you show me, because you're gonna just do this income statement, you're gonna do the same. You see this one, you do an exact same, but it's gonna be called the budgeted statement of comprehensive income, right? When you do that, you're gonna repeat everything. All of these items, you will repeat them, but the numbers will be different, obviously. So if you do that for each and every one of them, 11 marks, easy. Okay, and the second part of your question, then it will ask you to determine whether the marketing manager's proposal should be implemented. All right, so that's quite clear. Is that clear? Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. So just make sure, take your time, and again, this is like a game. This is basically simple calculus. I don't know who they think we are. We are not secondary school students. In fact, some of the calculus are frankly, primary school. So if somebody will struggle with 3/4, I'm really sorry. But as you can see, I just want to make sure you don't miss a particular statement that is relevant. And that's the reason why I've spent a bit of time here. But in any case, we did an example together in class, remember? Go on page 79 of chapter 3. And I'm not too sure if I manage also to share my, I will check if because remember when I'm sharing my notes with you, I'm sharing my notes of the entire, when we are in class, when we are doing discussions, when we are going through the numbers, I share that with you. So it's not like a one page, it's multiple pages that I share with you. It's a lot of notes directly from the textbook. So no other student is getting this, really, to tell you the truth, because nobody is using OneNote. But I'm the only tutor who's using OneNote, because VC Learn is working with OneNote everywhere else. You know, whether you look at the student in America or in Europe, they're using it with OneNote. But somehow, you know, in South Africa, we're always late. And so I have decided to use it because it is integrated into VC Learn. So it allows me to give you more notes than anybody else. So don't tell me that, but you're not sharing enough notes with us. I'm sharing more than enough that you can ever get, because I'm going directly into the textbook and giving you straight from the textbook direct explanations, and I'm sharing those notes with you. If there is you struggle with a particular note, just let me know. We can always fix that. Okay, so listen, question 3, question 4, question 5, same type of question. It just requires you to show me the calculation. All right, so let's move to question 4. As you can see, another question is quite simple. Yeah, simply that, as you can see here. All right, so again, you are given clear indication of this particular, but I'm afraid that I made a mistake. I think it's question 4 that is on page 79. Let me just highlight that. I think I made a mistake here. This one is the one that we did on page 79 of chapter 3. But question 3 is also in chapter 3. Okay? But this one, page 79, we touched on it. We had a good example. Look at your notes. It should be there. If it's not there, just let me know. And this is exactly just the example that was given to you. I've highlighted again some of the things there, quite important. Remember here, it's total sales. You have to take into account the total sales. But remember here, 40% of all sales are made in cash. What does it tell you? 60% is on credit. And now give you how that credit is expected to be repaid. As you can see, 10% will be expected in the following month. 60% in the within 60 days. 20% within 90 days. We did all those kind of calculations. So it's not the on credit. It's 40% of the sales that are on credit that will require to be paid like that. It's not a total sale. Don't go take the total. I don't know even why I'm telling you this, because I'm giving you already the answer. I just hope that I'm not going to get myself into trouble. But in any case, follow the instruction, show all your workings. Very important. I need to see all your workings because marks are involved in those workings. And round to the nearest rand. So we don't want 354.75. No, we don't want that. We just want the nearest rand. Okay? I don't know. Maybe let me give you an example here. If you get 15, just round it to 16 rand. All right? Easy. Any questions before I touch the last one? Okay, no questions. So let me move. We're almost there. But remember here, for question 5, it's quite important that they gave you this too. The current ratio, which all of you at the exception, I don't want to say this, but let me just say this, because there is always one of those students who is not participating, who does not even know what the solvency ratio is. So guys, I cannot give it to you now because I'll be giving you the answer, but you know. So please go back to chapter 2, look at your ratio, make sure that you get the current ratio, because knowing the formula of the ratio, how it is calculated, would give you the answers to some of these question marks that you have in this table. And what is expected of you is just to fill this table. This is not tertiary level education. But I know why this is being asked of you. And that's the reason why I'm even saying if any one of you is cheating, that will be the dumbest thing that anyone can do. Why? Because your exam will be a written exam. It is important for you to understand this. These are simple calculus that you need to know to do by yourself. Because in the exam, you won't have the luxury of the time that you've had for assignment 1 and assignment 2. You are given so much time to complete these assignments that I'm pretty much sure that you will all get distinctions, which is good, no problem, because listen, wherever you can grab those marks, just grab them, no problem. That's not an issue. But my point is that remember that your final exam will be a very good test to see if you understand this concept, because you will have to do it within 3 hours maximum. And so you will need to demonstrate that you really understand these principles and you can do it by yourself. Do it by yourself. All right. Okay, so as you can see inside here, I've even given you some, when we come to a total, it will be 2 marks. When we come to a total, it will be 2 marks, but I want to see how you're getting these totals, and within them 1 mark, 1 mark. But I want you to put, when you see something like this, there is a ratio, put the formula of those ratio and show me how you derive from the formula, how you are deriving. I don't know why I'm saying this, but I'm just gonna be too kind and even say, okay, you all guys know that if A equal B divided by C, you all know that it means that C, if you want to find C equal B divided by A. You all know this game, right? It's quite simple. So from a formula, you can derive exactly what the unknown is. You know that, right? So I think, let me know if there are any questions, but as you can see, the same year, you have to redraft, sorry, you have to redraft the statement of financial position by completing missing information. So here, it's not like the one for the forecast where you have to do a budgeted statement, another statement. No, it's only the same statement, but you are redrafting it so that you can find the missing information. And that's all. That is as simple as that. 100, 100 marks for the entire test. Can I find out who's gonna get a distinction on this? How much do you think you can do? I'm just curious. Just share with me how much you think you can do. Oh, awesome, awesome. But Jethro, I wanted to find out. Okay, what will be your mark? Like, give me an estimate of how much, because any serious student who should be able to tell me you're gonna get distinction. But is it gonna be in the 70s, 80s, or 90s? All right. Okay. No, thank you, David. Thank you. Lucy, don't tell me I hope. There's no hoping here. There is just kill it, and be done with it. I think, seriously, I think all of you should be Rabia, there is no see. I think all of you should be doing 90 plus. Uh, 90 plus, and I do agree. Let me see. Who said 90 plus? Jethro, that was the correct answer. And I like that. Just kill it. It's easy, guys. This is easy. This is ridiculous. You see, just kill it. And by the way, as soon as you finish, start already also um, making headway for your assignment too. But as you know, we will have so much time. They have given us this year so much time. We will have also another national session for assignment 2 and even for the exam, so you don't need to worry much. But what I want you understand the principle, and for all of you who have had the time to be, I think Rabia can testify, if you've had the time to come at one of my live sessions, it's all about that. I want you to understand the formulas. I want you to understand why things are being done that way. And I know that this is the best thing I can give you as entrepreneurs, is that you one day run your own businesses, but you would need to understand, to have sound financial knowledge about certain things. All right. So guys, I think that will be it. I think we've spent exactly the amount of time. So Should you have any questions, just write to me or we can chat later. But the paper is quite simple, and I've looked, there is no mistakes on the paper. That's one of my responsibility to see if the paper was not set by me, it's set directly by the IE. But my goodness, I wish I had set this paper, because I wouldn't have given you such a easy, because my thing is, I just want to give you the toughest possible test before you go to the exam, so that your exam will be easy. But unless also the exam will be more or less this way, so guys, I'm quite confident that all of you will pass. But I just don't want you to find yourself in a difficult position at that time. Awesome, awesome. So everyone, thank you so much for making it today. Thank you so much for attending. I'm going to stop the recording, and you'll have access to the recording. Let me know. Hey guys, remember again, if you want to have a chat with me at any time, please let me know. Let's have that conversation. But keep well, and for all of you, 90+%. Awesome. Thank you so much, Talia. Thank you so much, David. Rabia, keep well. Lucy, Jethro, all of you.